Hey, Destiny Walkers. Many of us are having conversations about the government shutdown and everything that's going on right now as it relates to issues impacting everyone's finances. But for me, the real crisis is not about what's happening in Washington, but what are we doing to stay focused and organize our financial business? Many of us are one major expense away from financial chaos. So why is that? So I want you to stick around with me today, and we're going to just really talk about how we are going to get organized as it relates to our finances so that we can walk in our financial destiny one step at a time. Welcome back to the E320 M&M podcast, where we believe productive days lead to prosperous ways. And you've heard me say this many times now. It's not just about the financial wealth, but it's about the total abundance of wealth. So over the past couple of weeks, I've been having lots of conversations, either with my friend circle or folks from church, or even just some of my community colleagues about just the impact of the government shutdown. And what we've really been talking about is that, yes, while it's difficult and a shame, this is a wake up call for us to get organized as it relates to our finances. I remember in my 20s, I would not even want to look at my bank account because I was just spending. And if I'm honest, I did not have the financial acumen to really understand how to manage my finances. And so one day I was talking with someone and they really shared something about me. They was like, well, Belle, your superpower is really about organization. Why don't you start small? And that small for me, I started with just cleaning out a drawer in my office. Well, that sounds random. What I will tell you, organization for me creates momentum because I understand that my superpower is really around organization, whether it is in my closets, whether it's mental organization, whether it is how I share information in an organized manner. So what is your superpower that you are not connecting to your finances that is keeping you in the season of lack during this time? Organization is not about perfection. It is about being prepared. And it is very important because when seasons like this come up, is that we're prepared. So today I really want to walk you through just my personal money book that I will be sharing with our community in the hopes that you will connect with it and begin to get organized in your finances. Because when you're organized in your finances, that's where the discipline comes in and you're able to know your numbers and you're able to set goals to help you become better in this area of finances. Can we have an honest conversation right now? When you avoid your finances, you're not just avoiding numbers, you're avoiding the truth about what you value, where you're spending your money, and where you have your trust. I remember early on in my career, I was sitting in church and I heard the pastor preach on 2 Corinthians 9:6. And it says, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. And I remember sitting there like, wow, I am a natural giver, everyone. And so I will sow generously and expecting to get generously. But here's the reality. That means that our harvest will always match our habits. And if your habits are disorganization or not knowing your numbers, guess what your harvest is going to be? Disorganized and not having enough to cover the expenses that you need to cover. When you face your numbers, you're facing your stewardship assignment. And that, my friend, is where transformation begins. So right now, everybody's talking about the federal paychecks being frozen, jobs being cut, and even the household debt at $1.2 trillion. But that's not the real crisis, Destiny Walkers. The real crisis is not what's happening in Washington, but what's happening in our homes and in our checkbooks. And if I'm honest with you, that's one of the reasons how E320 M&M platform was birthed through a lot of conversations, whether with my friends, my family, my colleagues at work, or even those in the community. It really comes down to having the conversations about how are we now going to get organized as it relates to our finances. Let me be clear. I am not a financial advisor, but I am someone who helps you to get organized so that when you go to sit with the financial advisor, the conversation becomes that much easier. So today I want to share with you just something that I have developed, and it is called the E320 Stewardship Vault is the nickname for it. But it's really a money book, and it's really about getting all of your finances organized in one book or one area or one folder to help you know what your numbers are and to also help you to set goals so that you can either meet those numbers, reduce those numbers, or create numbers. It's not a budget spreadsheet. It's not even to replace a financial advisor. It is really to put a system in place so that you can organize everything as it relates to the finances in your household and as it relates to you and your future. When you organize your environment, you organize your focus. Say it with me again. When you organize your environment, you organize your focus. So if you start to organize your finances, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be able to focus in on those areas. So here's what I've learned over the years as being a coach, a career coach, a life coach, a productivity coach, is that 75% of my clients that would come to me to have conversations or for coaching really thought they had career problems. And as we begin to break down these conversations, it really was disguising their money problems. They would come in starting saying, oh, I want more visibility. I want opportunities. I want this. I want that. But when we got down to the bottom line of it, it all came down to dollars and cents. And if I'm honest, it wasn't even that they didn't make enough, right? It was that they didn't have a clear view of their finances. They didn't have goals, specific goals as it related to their finances. So here's how this organizational system works. It's 3 easy steps. The first step is really about gathering, and that is gathering everything. Any money that you are getting in paychecks and anything that you are spending money on. So that can be from your household bills. That's your insurances. That's your investment statements. That's your subscriptions, legal paper, all of that information that is needed to understand what does your financial profile looks like. We're going to gather all of that and get that organized. Step number 2 is to evaluate your growth plan. And what does that mean? You're going to look at where you are soaring, but also where you are sinking. Many of us have too many subscriptions or we're eating out a lot. This is where that growth plan comes into play. The third and final step is really talking about our goals. And it's not only just our getting goals, the goals that how we want to get things, but it is also about our giving goals. How are we going to be good stewards and sow into good ground so that we can bless those in the kingdom during times like this? So Destiny Walkers, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because when you complete and gather all of this information, you now shift from anxiety to awareness. This is the time that you stop fearing your finances and you start to face them. Drop for me in the chat a high five if you're going to move from fearing to facing these finances, even when it seems bad. Because listen, the things we start to face, we can start to transform. And when we are organized, we are now operating in our God-given assignment to be good stewards over what he has given to us. So here's the challenge for this week. Start your money book. But I want to be honest with you. If you were like how I was when I first started in my 20s, I couldn't face my finances. I didn't want to be that honest with myself at that time. So I started small. Start with that junk drawer in your kitchen. You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to start today, not next week, not January for the New Year's, not tax season, but today. Why is that important? Because as you know, productive days lead to prosperous ways. It may take you to New Year's Day to have all your finances in order so that when 2026 starts, you're starting on the right foot. If this episode blessed you, be sure to share it with another Destiny Walker who is ready to get organized and walk into their financial freedom. Also, do me a favor, comment below, where are you going to start your organization journey today? Drop in the comments because I want to share in your wins. Destiny Walkers, we have to do this together. And I want us to walk into our destiny one step at a time together.